Here we are again, the helping women out hour. Someone rightly pointed out, well, that wasn't an hour. Like, yeah, I know, I'm going for alliteration. Not everything I say is going to be like an hour long. To the what do I look like the great one? It's got to be 59 minutes and 52 minutes 42 seconds. And this is a series on my channel where I do believe there are particularly younger women who are looking at the older people ahead of them, whether that's teachers, parents, sisters, aunts, uncles, whatever, everyone older than you, everyone with gray pubes, and realizing they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And particularly when women look at the older women in their lives, whether that's their moms, their grandmas, aunts, or whatever, they're realizing they're pretty fucking miserable. And I have seen little bits and pieces of evidence that young women, I'm not saying we're all going to go and become June Cleaver and put on the pearl necklace and, submit yourself to a man. But I think you want a better life than the women that came ahead of you. And so I think there is an audience, which my current audience makes fun of me of, having hope, having optimism. I think there is a small but significant audience of younger women who want to do better than the previous generation of women before them. And so we're going to give you tangible help, not bullshit, not nothing's your fault because you got a hole between your legs. We're giving you practical, reality-based help here in the Helping Women Out Hour so that you live a better life than not only the women that came before you, but the men. And a lot of this advice would apply to men as well, but I think women are way more, well, I don't think women are way more propagandized than men are. And we're doing it in order of importance. And today, this is number 2 and number 3. This is very important. That is the wage gap. Why is the wage gap important? Because like blood getting to your cells, if you don't get oxygen to your cells, you die. And money is like the cells or the oxygen that gets to your economic life. If you do not have money, certain amount, right? If you don't have enough of it, your life fucking sucks. And it's if you want to look, you can look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where the first one is safety, right? If you're getting attacked by warlords or saber-toothed tigers, you got to establish that. Then you need food, clothing, shelter, that kind of thing, so you don't die at night. And then maybe you can move on to things like, oh, maybe we get community, and then maybe we can major in engineering, and then maybe we can go and get a boat. Right? That's kind of, you're not thinking about getting boats if you can't feed yourself. So money is critical to everyone, and it has been a very pernicious, unrelenting, almost like an incurable herpes infection, where many women, all of them that I know, frankly, complain about the wage gap. The women don't make as much money as men. Let us discuss what the wage gap is. Right? Long ago in the 70s, feminists, not researchers, not independent, intellectually honest people, feminists went in and said, what do men make? What do women make? And they found out that women, maybe even back then, it was below 70 cents on the dollar. Let's just call it 70 cents on the dollar. And they said, this was horrible. Oh my God, the patriarchy and the misogynies. Men are oppressive. And no one asked, well, what are men and women doing differently? Are there reasons outside of the patriarchy and discrimination and sexism that might explain? They didn't ask that. They just literally took men's wages per hour, women's wages per hour, said, there it is, sexism. And for 50 years, as long as I've been on the planet, ladies, it's always been sexism. That's all it's ever been. The reason you don't make as much as men. No one stopped and assessed it, right? No one investigated, right? Someone comes in with a cough. You say, well, that's a cough. What is it? Oh, it's allergies. But it's winter. There's no pollens. It's allergies. Well, what if he's a cigarette smoker and he's got more issues, like there's cancer? It's allergies. The women that came before you, I'm terribly sorry to say this, would not accept anything except sexism as a reason why women made a fraction of what men did. Now, the wage gap has closed, but it's still there, still stubborn. And to make it that you girls make as much money as men, ideally more. I want you to make as much money as possible. You have to accurately diagnose why women make less than men so that, I don't know, maybe future you might be wealthier than current you and not this pissed off 48-year-old spinster with her master's in English wondering why she doesn't make as much as a nuclear engineer. Now, I got my notey notes. Let me pull up my notey notes. You know it's serious when I got my notey notes. And by the way, to save me time, I did a little bit of research on this, but I've been studying economics and research and data for damn near 30 years, if not a little bit more if you include internships. I'm just going to go with what I remember. And then I'm going to look up more details if it supplements it. But long ago when I looked into it, this was an Obama study, okay? Mr. Not conservative, not Republican, all right? More probably aligned with your politics. They went into it and looked at 70% degree choice, 20% hours worked, and 10%, interestingly, bad at negotiating raises and pay or salary negotiations. Right? They said somewhere, no, I take that back. It was 70%, 10, 10, and then the remaining 10, they said, oh, it's racist, or not. I get my isms so confused. They said there's this token amount of discrimination. Now, I have, if you haven't known, I've been studying the labor market, particularly as it pertains to degrees, for a long time. Probably back when I was your age. And if we were to simplify it very simply, the reason women don't make as much money, men, is two main reasons. You major in dumb shit and you don't work as much. That's it. There is a token amount, let's call it 10%, right, where you're not good at negotiating raises. Women are more pleasers. They want to not rock the boat. They want to go along to get along, and that's fine. There's an upside to that. You're more stable, less risky, longer tenure perhaps at the place of employment. But that does contribute to the wage gap. And so there's something you could do there, learn how to negotiate for wages better. But it's not men oppressing you. No, it's not allergies. It's a cold. Okay, would you like your cold cured? Well, we got to diagnose it correctly. Oh my God, it's a cold. Here's your antibiotics. What do they treat cold? If we keep saying it's allergies and here's your anti-snuffling medicine, it ain't going to work. So let's go through what do women major in? Okay, this is 70% of it. You want to close 70% of the wage gap? This is what you do. You have to stop majoring in dumb shit. Now, that's the previous video I did. Stop going to school for stupid shit. Now we're doing it in context of the wage gap. And I know your teachers and your parents and the media and everyone who wants to screw you over, especially colleges and universities. They want you to fork over 4 years of your life on $100,000 of borrowed money so that professors and teachers and guidance counselors and whoever else the college employs gets to make bank off of you while you spend 12 years paying off your journalism degree. But it is a lie. Whether malicious or conscious or not, it is the wrong information nearly every adult is giving you in your life about being able to major in what you want and make a living at it. It doesn't work that way. And there's no other way to put it. The harder a subject, whether it's math intensive, intellectually challenging, or physically demanding, or it just sucks, like being a plumber, you work with shit. Okay. It is a law, an unviolable law. You cannot change this. If you want to make more money, you must do the hard things. And it could almost fall into those three categories: math, physically demanding work, or dirty jobs, working with shit. Once you start believing the lie that you could follow your heart and the money will follow, here it is. I'll tell you right here. These are the top 10 professions for women. All right? Top 10 professions for women. You tell me if this sounds like rigorous, math intense shit work, or if it's just preschool and kindergarten teachers, 97% women. Executive secretaries, 95% women. There, you don't have to go to college. Child care workers, 95% women. Regular secretaries, I don't know how I broke that down. 94% women. Dental assistants, that's a good job. That's a good one. You're also, I think you're going to see nursing up here as well. Uh, medical or dental assistants, that's good. Medical records specialists, 91% women. That's not a thing. Receptionists and information clerks, 91% women. Medical assistants, 90% women. Dietitians and nutritionists, 90% women. Hairdressers and cosmetologists, 89% women. All right. I'm sure if we looked at it, and I can go from memory, if we look at college degree choices, girls make up about 2/3 of the worthless degrees conferred. So let's just say you make up 70% of political science majors and journalism majors and whatever other math, work, and shit avoidant horse shit you girls major in. I do not. Now, you want to get ahead? Set aside your feelings and start dealing with reality. I don't care about your feelings, I care about you. If you go and major in dumb shit, as per the previous video, you will ruin the next 10 years of your life financially. However, if you're willing to put in the hard work and effort, let's go and look at what the top 10 career professions are for men. Plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters, 99% men. Electricians, 98% men. Carpenters, 98% men. Auto mechanics, 98% men. Supervisors of construction extraction workers, mining, 97% men. Construction laborers, 90% men. Firefighters, 96%. Industrial mechanics, 96%. Aircraft mechanics, 95%. Machinists, 95%. Obviously, that's more of the physical labor demanding side of things. But if we look at college degrees, 80% of engineering degrees go to men. Right? There is no world where you major in early childhood education or art or English or any of these math avoidant horseshit degrees and you make a good money and you have no financial troubles. There is no scenario where that works unless you have wealthy parents. And most of you do not have wealthy parents. So you need to go to college or trade school or something else that is for a real field that commands a real wage. It may suck up first, but you know what sucks a lot more? Everything every woman older than you is doing that you know is doing right now, which is trying to make their shit piss liberal arts degree or social science, their sociology degree where, and then what do? Here's the trap. Listen to me. Listen to me. The trap is you go and major in dumb shit, whatever. History, right? You go major in history. Well, you can't find a job. What do you do then? Oh, you know, at that age of 22, well, I need to get a master's degree. And what do you get a master's degree in? Horseshit again. A master's in history, a master's in English, or if you want to look up a hashtag women with degrees and then go look up where these women ended up 10 years later. It was a hashtag 10 years ago, 9 years ago. All these girls are graduating. Women with degrees, because, you know, well, your vagina is just the most important thing about you, not you yourself, right? Women with degrees. And I did a study because I'm a nerdy economist, and most of them were horseshit degrees. You know where everybody was saying they were going to go afterwards? Law school. Law school. Were they getting a top tier law school? No. Did you ask whether the legal profession is flooded enough as it is? No. Did you look at the bimodal, look it up, income distribution? No. And so 10 years later, I looked these girls up, women with degrees into the, oh man, it's bad. I think 1 in 7 are actually making something of their lives now. The remainder, they might as well not have gone to college. They might as well not have gone to college, and they would have saved a lot of money and a lot of debt and a lot of stress and be way ahead financially. So there's no other way to put it, ladies. If you want to make men's salary or you want to make more than men's salary, you got to go into the hard professions and fields, engineering, accounting. Link below, I have and that's more of a field I think women might like. Because women don't have the physical strength to be sitting on there trying to get a fucking air conditioner hooked up. I get it. All right. But accounting, engineering, actuarial science, women do dominate one field, nursing and the medical profession. We'll get to how that might be a little bit misleading. You want to close the wage gap? Here's a question. Do you want to bitch about the wage gap like all your female relatives before you came and never close it? Or do you want to close the wage gap? What do you want to do? One results in you being a miserable 42-year-old who's poor, right? The other requires a lot of work up front, but you not being poor 42-year-old. Matter of fact, you probably have an adequate retirement plan and you're not worried about money. And then you don't bitch about the wage gap. You You go golfing instead. I don't know, whatever, do whatever you want. You got the money for it. But you're not poor anymore. You're not angry. So there's that. If you are curious about what a good degree is, there's a book called Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. You may want to look into the trades that you can do it. Dental hygienists, like these 18-month programs, they're great. Radio tech or not radio techs, radiologists. What the hell is X-ray techs? Nursing is a field that a lot of women disproportionately kind of dominate in that field. Accounting is a good one too. Again, take a look. The World's Greatest Accounting Career. It's a course I have linked below. It's on Teachable. You can search it. But you have got to give up on this lie that you get to do what you want and get handsomely paid for it. It will not happen. It will not happen. Second, this one, hours worked, they weren't wrong about it, 20%. I had to do the research when me and Myron were working on his book. And the data, here we go. Men work 52 minutes more each day than women. We could stop right there. I'm going to go over their other statistics, but the answer is men work more, significantly more, about 10% more. That right there, there's working smarter, right? And we could boil it down to that. Sorry, men work smarter. They major in harder subjects, more skilled things, and you girls don't work smarter. You work dumber. You have the capacity to be intelligent. Smartest person I know is a woman. Doctorate in electrical engineering and computer science, 2 doctorates, STEM degrees, not fluffy pony horse shit degrees. You just choose to. Because you believe that lie that I can do whatever I want. It's American. If you do what you love, you don't work a day. Yeah, but you suck dick at a truck stop. Yeah, I guess if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life, except when sucking dick at a truck stop or doing OnlyFans, which I'm going to imagine you want to avoid that. So here's the data. A lot of this comes probably from the Department of Labor. I don't have, there's notes, footnotes. I'll look it up later if you want. Women are twice as likely to work part-time compared to men. Women take leave from work more frequently than men and for longer periods of times, 34 days versus 21. Women use 88% of their vacation time versus 82% of men. That's negligible. And here's one. Women call in sick 30% more commonly than men. You need to work smart and work hard. Smart covers 70% of it. And working equivalent amounts to men is the other 20%. I remember, here it is. Now, a lot of people, I'll read it for, admittedly, some of this can be attributed to women giving birth to a child or having to go home to take care of a sick child, notably taking a leave of absence. But using the wage and annual income data for both childless men and women, okay, childless women work only 1,811 hours per year, while childless men work almost 2,088 hours, 300 hours per year more, or just shy of that. You need to work as much as men, and you need to major in the right things as men. And the vast majority of this wage gap will go away. When it comes to then the negotiation of wages, that I don't have a resource for that. I'm sure there are people or some advice on the internet that you can learn about negotiating wages. That is not the patriarchy discriminating against you. That's not evil man, bad, and sexism. You just need to grow a spine and say, no, I have this amount, ask for a higher pay, learn to negotiate. Not an expert in that. I'm not an expert in wage negotiation. So maybe find someone who is and watch that. But that will help top off and close that little bit of the wage gap left, hopefully. And then there are some other things that I didn't have data available on, but things you might want to think about. All right. Let's say you go into a real field. I'm going to use construction as an example. When you go past the they said women in construction, right? When I did research for a book called A World Without Men, which I have linked below, you can look at that later. There's like, well, wow, there's like, I think 7-8% of women are in construction. Like, what are they doing? They're holding the sign. They're holding the sign. And what ends up happening, it's where all the nerds who want to sleep with you in engineering, I saw this because I did have a lot of engineering friends. All these guys to get in with you girls, they're going to help you with their homework. And all these guys to get in with you girls, they're going to help you with your work because they want to get laid. I'll be honest about that. But you get these coddled, easier, you hold the sign, don't lay the hot 320-degree asphalt type of job. So even if you are in the industry, are you taking on the hardest roles? Are you doing the programming? Are you on the marketing committee? Right? All those videos, a day in the life of a Facebook employee. Not one single guy's doing that shit. My name is Becky, and today I'm going to go and work over at Facebook. Oh my God. First, I take my Uber because I had to sleep in. She ain't doing no work. Are you the accountant who does the actual auditing? Are you the actuary who double checks the numbers and understands the math and can do it? Are you the computer programmer that can code with the boys? Or are you just, oh, here, I did multimedia. Are you Mexican or are you a Mexicant? That's an old movie. Johnny Depp. What was that one? Wasn't Donnie Bravo? Wasn't that? What was that? What was that movie? Had been not Benicio del Toro. Danny Trejo was in it. Are you Mexican or Mexican? Right. So that's one thing that's going to go, because push comes to shove, they got to start laying off people. They're going to start looking at those girls who do that. Oh my God, a day in the life of a Google employee. Gone, especially during recessions. If you're the gal, oh no, she programmed the backbone of the system. We can't get rid of her. You better keep her. Because she knows what she's doing. She's not just fucking holding the sign. She's laying the asphalt. Dramatic, catty, petty bullshit. I don't think there's any studies on this. I will say if there is going to be a legitimate form of discrimination coming through to you girls, it's because the previous that filed all these lawsuits. Tom in accounting asked me out, and I want you to find. So what? Tom in accounting asked you out. Don't rock the boat. Now, I'm not saying tolerate unacceptable behavior either. But I've had enough, I've helped out female clients with career questions. Dude, almost without fail. Well, Becky was saying this about Trisha. I said, girlfriend. I'm like, whoa. What the fuck is this? Middle school? Shut the fuck up. Go there, do your job. And so what if Frank asked you out? So what if Trisha didn't invite you to lunch? The executives are deathly afraid of getting sexual harassment lawsuits. They're afraid of getting regular harassment suits or problems. And they got a choice. There's the Christmas party, which we can't have those anymore. But let's say there's the annual party or some kind of party, right? And there's Amy who shows up, and Larry is drunk and he really likes Amy, and he blurts out something not charming. He asks Amy to go home with him, have sex, right? Direct proposition. And Amy just is flattered, whatever. It's annoying, yeah. But she doesn't, just like, unless he keeps doing it, then I understand. And then there's Madison. She's a modern girl. Oh my God, Larry, I need to try him. I need a therapist. I go running to HR. Which one do you think is going to, right? And then it's like, why'd you leave? Oh, I got sexually harassed. Okay. Fine, you did. Not acceptable, shouldn't happen. All right. But you quit over that, and right? It's a balance. You don't want to tolerate abusive behavior, right? Whether it's sexual harassment, bad bosses, which we'll get to in another video, because the Lord knows there are many situations in employment that's not acceptable. But are you a drama queen middle school girl, or can you roll with the punches a little bit here and there? Not everything is going to go perfectly. Are you the type to immediately start whining and complaining and launching lawsuits and going to HR? Or are you like, okay, Larry hit on me? Heaven forbid you might be flattered. But is it worth causing that bullshit? Unless he repeats it, of course. So there's that. Calling in sick, that was another one. We got that there. And then also you abandon your profession early, either dropped out to part-time or not sticking with it at all. This happens a lot with female doctors. I think if you look at the percentage of female doctors who either drop part-time or get out of the profession, it's shocking. I mean, I have to look up the numbers, but it ain't 2%. It's like a 40-50% drop where it's like, well, what you go to medical school for? I think what helps you will help you understand there is no career profession that pays well where you're going to be rewarded mentally, spiritually, professionally. I think it would really help you girls to understand, and you boys too. There's no job out there that you're going to enjoy, says the hypocritical man who has a job podcasting. But you can do that on the side. That doesn't. It's the biggest lie, I think, that the previous 3 generations of adults have told the current 3 generations of children, that somehow out there's a job or a career profession that not only pays you a living wage, but you're going to enjoy it. No, you will not. Medical school is incredibly difficult. Being a doctor is incredibly difficult. And you got to give up on this hope, like somewhere out there. No, you need to buckle down, reserve and conserve your energy, and choose your fights. Like in banking, all right, banking is full of drama and petty small penis men. They're called bankers. And they want their pet projects all financed. And if you're the commercial lending officer or the analyst, you actually have to do real work and say, no, that's not going to fly. And then there's crying. And why you think a middle school girls team of whatever, all the popular girls sitting at the middle school popular team, you think that's full of drama? You should go work with bankers. They're equivalently whiny little dramatic bitches. Had I known, and see, this is the pot calling the kettle black. I was naive too. I thought, it should be, I really like numbers in finance, and this should be a Reddit. I had to give up on it. You know why? Because there was no job for me anywhere in the world that I would enjoy. And if I did have a job that I enjoyed, you know what? It was immediately wiped out, either because of a recession or corruption in one instance. I mean, I ended up doing the job of a senior economist. It was hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this? But I was told you were. Well, give me that person's salary. Give me his salary. But yeah, you got to abandon hope that somehow there's this magical world where you get paid to do what you want. It doesn't, unless you're extremely lucky. And that's usually going to come from you engaging in some form of entrepreneurship on the side. You like crocheting, or you could be an influencer. That's possible, but that's something you do on the side. So please avoid the poverty that has wreaked havoc and ruined 3 generations, if not 4 generations of women before you and men. And you have to be more mature than the adults that came before you. You have to be more realistic. You have to be practical and say, no, I'm going to major in something that puts food on the table, pays my bills, pays for retirement, gets me out of debt, repays my student loans, and allows me to finance and afford a life that I actually enjoy. And I've said it a million times on this channel, if you happen to be new here, your life is not work. That's the biggest lie. Your life is not work. Work is where you go get money so you can afford to live your life outside of work. Your life is outside of work. It's what you do outside of work. It is not what you do for work. I mean, there's some value in being a dentist or an accountant. Certainly there is. That's how you contribute to society, is through your skills and your labor. But that's not you. What you do is outside of work. That is where you go and you take bits of your life you're never getting back. You give it to an employer and they give you money. And it's what you do with that money outside of work that's how you live life. And you're going to really handicap yourself doing what 3 generations of women did before you, and that is majoring in absolute unemployable horse shit, skimping out on work. And then I know a lot of you girls, but I have a kid, and they won't take care of you. It's not your employer's job to take care of. Yes, you had a kid. Wow. Guess what? Consequences. Yes, you are. By the way, I hope you're sitting down, ladies. Don't know if you knew this. You're going to make less money if you have a kid. You know why? Because the kid needs to be fed and dealt with and raised. There is no world where you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get to make a choice. You get to choose make as much money as men and work as much as men, or have a kid and work less and not make as much as men. There it is. There's your answer. The benefit is you have a child if you care to raise it. If you care to enjoy the child while it's a child and before it turns 20 and it's off and doesn't call you anymore. Right. You had a kid. Yeah. Like I can't take 5 days of vacation and say, well, I'm going to Italy. Oh no, I didn't get to go to France. Well, yeah, you went to Italy. So if maybe decide, well, but no, it doesn't. You cannot, they are mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive. And so having kids, that's a different discussion. That's a different topic for another time. But mathematics, boots on the ground, you got to work as much as men. You got to major in the same things. And you got to give up on this hokum bullshit that's impoverished 3 generations of women before you of majoring in what you want. And think there's somehow a job that you get to be 6-figure journalism major in New York City writing about food. Doesn't happen. All right. So link below, we got our resources. We have A World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. These are harsh reads for women, but I would read through it so you know, oh, wow. That's if you're really interested in closing the wage gap, go read that book, A World Without Men. Then you go into a person and be like, no, I carry my, look at me. I make more than you. There's always bachelor-pad economics, even though it says bachelor-pad economics, it's for bachelorettes because the world of finance doesn't change for men or women. And then also, if you're interested in accounting or a career that pays very well and lends itself very well to self-employment and remote employment, might I recommend looking into accounting. And me and my tax accountant, Chad Elkins, we put together this course called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. And that's available on Teachable. All right. We got super chats. Rain. Hey, what's up, man? $5. It's a Cappy instinct. If he sees a hurricane, he's got to whip out the hut. Just let me do it, man. See, ladies, this is the doubting Thomases I got here. These are the doubting Thomas. Here's what's going to happen, Reen. I'm going to go through all 20 of my topics here. I will have said my piece. I will have contributed more to the marketplace of ideas and the public that will actually tangibly help women than Oprah has done in her entire life. Legit. I'll stand by that. Fuck you, Oprah. You're a horrible human being. Fuck you. Ruining people's lives like that. I will stand. And then I'll say, there it is. I made a serious and concerted and practical, tangible effort to help women. No joke. Legit. And we'll see what happens. And then I'll just move on and play my video games or something. Uber noob, $5. Typical man to fix a problem, leave women with the mental labor of coming up with something else to complain about. Shame. No, look, in their defense, Uber noob, young women especially have been lied to for the past 3 generations, right? Women were literally told the way you are is just amazing and great, and you should be showered with money and gifts for just existing. And we'll all major in early childhood education. We won't worry that market is flooded with literally millions of graduates every year. And then we'll bitch about the wage gap and how women don't make as much as men with summers off. The Uber noob, you were a man. You are a man. You were a guy. You were a boy, right? Were you lied to as a young boy about other things? You sure were. How'd that help? How'd that work out for you? Every guy in this audience, I say right now, every guy, you guys were lied to about pretty much everything important in life. Women, career, politics, economic, everything, finances. Probably weren't told a damn thing about finances. And do you know how painful it was trying to figure out dating and this and that? Why didn't I? Well, it's my fault. The patron. You know how confused and angry you are? Well, women, it's the same thing. They were lied to. You don't need no man and shit. Look out, and you're titled. Oh my God, the magic thing between your legs. You should just get paid to have it. Except when you look at the previous 3 generations of women in America, they aren't paid to have it. Like, you don't just get paid money because you're a woman. And then they go into debt for where they'll follow your heart, right? I mean, if women are a real victim, they are a real victim of follow your heart and money will follow. They are a victim of higher education, the colleges and universities in this nation, where they crippled, maybe not the first generation because tuition prices were cheaper back then, but the latest, especially Gen Z, and I'm trying to warn you Gen Z girls about this, but especially the millennials and especially Gen X, those women were screwed by higher education. They gave those poor girls, here's your worthless, crappy degree you're never going to find a real job with, and here's a shit ton of fucking debt that will ruin your entire financial life, and maybe to the point you never have kids or a family. Women are definitely a victim, but not in the way that the media and Democrats and politicians try to paint them to be. They are a victim of anything of that system and organization. So I have no problem pointing that out. I'm not saying, and us men are going to take care of it. I'm letting girls can figure it out. Like, and here's what you do. You're the one that has to major in engineering. You're the one that has to major in statistics. You're the one that hits the treadmill if you want to find an attractive man. This is not Aaron comes in and fix it all. Aaron comes in and he fixes women's problems. Aaron comes in and he fixes it all. Why are you bringing me down, man? All right. See you guys later, Toodles.